Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we've got some news about a potential new championship title being introduced to WWE, or at least pitched the idea. Also, we've got your AEW Dynamite with a potential late year match of the year candidate. And we've got your NXT rundown for this week. Larson, where would you like to get started?
We'll start with this new championship belt. How about that?
I love it. I love titles. As you know, Larson, I love championship titles.
Yeah, you might have a problem.
Might be a problem. Might be a problem.
Might be a problem. Might have a problem. Anyways, WrestleVotes reported today that there were talks within WWE of creating yet another championship title. Tweeting the following, quote, sources indicate WWE has discussed introducing a Tribal Chief Championship into the storyline between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, similar to the People's Championship presented to The Rock at WrestleMania earlier this year. So, of course, at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, I believe it was Muhammad Ali's widow gave The Rock a People's Champion title.
Right.
He carries around with him.
So he's like, now he beat Muhammad Ali, basically, essentially, ostensibly, for that People's Championship title, I guess. I don't know. Muhammad Ali's widow forfeited it to The Rock. Now he is the People's Champion.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Is it effectively the Ula Fala, the physical representation of being the Tribal Chief?
So, boy, there's a couple different philosophies you can go with here. The Ula Fala, I think, in my estimation, and I'm pretty sure in yours, carries a wonderful drama to it, a mythos, a lore, if you will, that I think would be much more powerful than some cheesy ass championship title. On the other hand, wrestling is partially about absurdity. So to take the elements of the Ula Fala and infuse them in some silly Tribal Chief Championship is a very wrestling thing to do. So I don't even know which way I would prefer, because you know me, I love the silliness of pro wrestling, and I am a fan of championship titles. So I don't know, man. If you want to go with like a prestige television thing, yeah, the Ula Fala. If you want the shit to be cheesy wrestling bullshit, then do the championship title.
Here's the thing about if it's a title belt, generally speaking, title belts are defended. So if Roman wins this Tribal Chief Championship and then carries it,
yeah,
then you would think he would have to defend it.
Yeah, well, short term, it makes actually a lot of sense, because Roman would beat Solo to determine the Tribal Chief Champion, which is, it sounds stupid anyways. But then it would, when I saw this, I was like, oh, that would be night 2 Rock Roman. That would be solid,
it would be
right there.
Tribal Chief title versus.
But then what?
People's Champion. But the same thing could be accomplished. Ula Fala versus the People's Championship title.
Again, though, it is one of those things where simply from a marketing standpoint, would it be easier to sell to the general public, not like you and me who overthink this shit, but to the general public with their buckets of popcorn? That's what they need. They need a Tribal Chief popcorn bucket. You know how at the movie theaters now they got all the silly popcorn buckets?
Have a Roman doing the ooh-ah pose.
Right, yeah.
And then you got to put your hand down Roman's mouth, get your popcorn out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. I need to get into Midjourney and make that. So, yeah, I really want to do that now.
Sorry, Steve, we got a show we got to finish first. Then afterwards.
I know, this pesky show of ours. So yeah, dude, I don't know. There it is. You know, it's if this is, and who knows? You know, WrestleVotes is kind of all over the map these days.
Here's the thing too: if you think as a storytelling mechanic, I think obviously the Ula Fala with the ceremonial aspect of it would be the way to go, preferably. You know, and that's imbued with such meaning. But if they're looking at it simply as a means to sell a product,
well, there's that too.
Then probably the championship belt would be the route they would go, because they could charge $500 for that.
A little bit more than that too.
Probably more than that.
They get somebody to sign it, $150 markup. They're selling, bro. One of the things that Bill Fanatics was trying to sell me in his email and phone call, 2 phone calls. One of the things he's trying to sell me was a $500 SummerSlam folding chair signed by Cody. Yeah. Didn't
so they take a $40 folding chair.
Right.
Have Cody write on it. Which makes the chair useless in terms of actually sitting on it.
Yeah, you won't want to sit on that thing.
And then they're gonna upcharge you an extra. How much did you say it was? $500?
Yeah.
$450. So actually, the autograph's worth $450 on that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, getting back to it. And then that's a consideration as well, because they make probably a big chunk of change off of selling the silly title.
Those profit margins off those titles got to be massive. Off the charts.
Yeah, huge.
They can't be cheap to make, but if still they cost $20 a piece to make.
Yeah.
That's an outrageous profit margin on those.
Freaking Mark's buying these things. Anyways, so yeah, there is that consideration as well. But I do think that, the Ula Fala, that's, too highbrow. Let's do a wrestling champ. Well, here's another consideration. Is that once WrestleMania is done with, assuming we get Rock versus Roman, there is this idea that Roman still wants a prize vis-a-vis a championship title. Would this satisfy that without him needing, Cody has that title that I lost, given that Roman might want a super part-time schedule, like a Big 4 schedule or a Big 2 plus Saudi show schedule, and he can accomplish that by being kind of like, how you used to talk about the Universal Championship, this thing, which ended up being the Crown Jewel Championship. It's defended once a year. If Roman has the Tribal Chief Championship, which you would think in theory would only be defended amongst Bloodline potential members, because why would, I'm trying to think of something. Braun Breaker was, I want the Tribal Chief Championship. Well, you're not even part of the family. Have you even been introduced to some of these people yet? So, it's a very specific title, but from a practical standpoint and a storyline logistics standpoint, does this sort of accomplish Roman having a title and not having to worry about the other stuff, which is there full time?
I think there's something about the legacy and the prestige inherent in, it's called the WWE Undisputed Championship.
Yeah, but
I think
there's also
to be at the top of the mountain, you need the belt that recognizes that you're number one. And that's what the Undisputed title does.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's another title on Raw, which in theory, that guy's number one in the mid-card.
Steve, there's only one title called the Undisputed title, all right? That's number one.
And also, it's got such a wonky legacy, though. They don't care about that shit. What I'm saying is from the standpoint of...
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying from a storyline perspective. If Roman wants to be seen as the guy, he needs the belt that acknowledges that he's the guy.
He's already the guy. He's already got the modern day Bruno record. He main events everything he's on.
Yeah, I know, but still, if he wants to get to the top of the mountain, he needs the title that's there. Not some title that somebody at WWE Design made for him. That's not the same thing. As meaningful as it might be in terms of the Bloodline story, in terms of overall WWE, the top prize is the Undisputed title. That's what he's going to want.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel look, I understand what you're saying. I do. But at this point, being Roman is kind of the top. Maybe that's what he's going to realize is, Cody, I don't need you. I don't need what you have, because get this, when I'm around, I am the title because I'm in the main event, and then Cody becomes as pedestrian as Gunther.
This is what
he needs to do. He's just kicked to the mid-card.
This is what he needs to do. They need to get a spinner title. I know he never held the spinner title, but a spinner title like the CM Punk one you have there.
Good.
Fully customized, but instead of the Punk logo,
Yeah.
You have the Superman punch silhouette logo.
It wouldn't be a 1 being thrown up?
Nah, in the center. That's what
Oh,
you do.
the Roman Jordan thing. I got
Yeah,
you.
you have that in the center.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then when you spin it, it would play his theme song.
Yeah.
But when you stop it and you do back and forth, it's like a record scratch. It's
Exactly.
like the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That should be a regular feature in all of them.
I like that. I think that's good. Yeah. So I don't know. Look, I would actually be. Let's talk about this now. Would you be surprised if this made it past the pitching stage? Because I get the feeling. Look, WrestleVotes has said things like, "Oh, Charlotte might come back tomorrow night," and WrestleVotes would be right about she could come back this week, imminent, whatever.
Yeah.
But this could be as small as one of the writers in the room talks to WrestleVotes. Hey, I pitched them a Tribal Chief Championship. And then WrestleVotes would be, correct in his info that was pitched. Would you be surprised? Because I think, I'll be honest with you, I'd be surprised if this actually made it to television. I don't think this is going to happen. Do you?
No. Not at all. No.
Yeah,
No, I think it's a situation where it was maybe pitched, it was brought up, it was discussed, pros and cons, and ultimately are like, Ulafala accomplishes everything that we're trying to accomplish with the championship belt, except it's not a title. But because it's not a title, it just feels like it's imbued with so much more meaning. Given the mythology they've already built up around it. And the ceremonial aspect of it. And most of that is gone if it's just a title.
People have already Jacob Fatu picks it up and starts, drooling.
That's what I'm saying. He literally presents it to Solo.
Roman has picked it up and has almost put it on. I think he did put it on at one point, and then they took it back from him. It's
the thing.
He said, and it's literally on Friday, his promo was, Solo, I earned it, you took it. It being the Ulafala.
Yeah.
LA Knight's already made a joke about the Ulafala. It's a thing. It's there. They're not going to do a title for this thing.
No, they're not.
That being said, hey, here's one thing, though. They might be able to have the proverbial cake and then also eat it as well. They just make the damn thing to sell on the shop for those marks who buy these titles. But they don't put it on TV. They're just like, hey, Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania for the Ulafala. We've created a silly championship title just for this occasion.
It's the commemorative thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Fanatics gets on the line with Steve. Here's what's,
Can
should
be
I
yours
just use
for the bargain price of $800.
Right. Exactly. Should I use the credit card you used last time?
Yeah. The one that's on file, apparently.
Listen, Bill Fanatics, you lose my number, man. Don't be calling me during
use that number. Got it.
No, I said lose
use
the number.
Yeah, no, I heard use that number. Yeah,
God
sure.
Damn you, Bill Fanatics.
Charged.
Not again. Fine, go ahead and do it. Whatever. Make sure Cody signs it.
Why would Cody sign the Rock Roman commemorative title?
Oh man, because he's Cody. Who doesn't love Cody? He's great. Because he beat Roman. That's why. Because that title's his.
But he lost the Rock.
Nah, doesn't matter. Oh my goodness gracious. Anyways, we're going to talk about AEW here in just a second. Maggie says, now I want cake. So do I. But instead, we've got some ads for you. Here's we're going to talk about the sponsors of today's show, Larson.
Let's get after it. This episode of Going In Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp Steve. It's cozy season. It's few things that are better this time of year than curling up on the couch, wrapped up in a blanket, while sipping a cup of tea or maybe some hot chocolate.
That's right, man. And if you're looking for long-lasting comfort, regardless of the season, therapy can help you get there. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try.
Yeah, therapy helped me learn the tools I needed to better cope with severe anxiety back in my mid-20s. But back then, in the early 2000s, I actually had to get in my car and drive to my therapist's office for my appointments. Now, BetterHelp is entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
So find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
And let's take a break here. Get a word from our sponsor, Tecovas. I got to admit, Steve, the holidays are getting me a bit nostalgic, a bit sentimental about Christmases past. I remember one year, I think it was Christmas, I got a pair of Western boots. I was probably 6 or 7 or so, and I used to wear those boots all the time. But here's the thing. I don't think adult Larson could possibly pull off wearing boots like that now.
Children's boots? That's crazy. No, I've seen your feet. They're much larger than that. They're like my size.
Not the same boots.
I couldn't wear children's boots.
No, not the same boots, I'm saying.
You're speaking nonsense now. You couldn't. Your feet are way too large. But I do think you can't wear the kids' boots, but you could rock some Western boots from Tecovas, man. Tecovas crafts quality Western boots for everybody, from ranchers to cowboys to people who think they can wear children's boots, but they need adult-sized boots like yourself. Every pair of Tecovas boots are handcrafted with over 200 steps for broken in comfort, so they're going to feel right out of the box. Not like those children's boots. Plus, the reviews for Tecovas are off the charts. Reviewer after reviewer mentions they fit great, they're comfortable, and they're easy to put on. Heck, Esquire said in their review, there's a reason we keep coming back to Tecovas and not those children's boots. And with Tecovas Best in the West guarantee, you get free returns and exchanges for 30 days.
Sounds like I owe it to my feet to pull on a pair of Tecovas.
That's right. So visit tecovas.com/raw and get 10% off with text and email sign up. That's Tecovas, TECOVAS.com/raw.
Tecovas.com/raw. See site for details. Tecovas. Point your toes west.
All right, man. Before we get started with the AEW stuff, we had a super chat from Bailey, not WWE Bailey.
Oh.
Bailey says, I think Drew costs Roman on January 6th. Thoughts? Is Drew going to storm Roman's match on January 6th, Larson?
You know, I've seen people suggest that, given that he mentioned Roman recently, but I'd be kind of surprised. I'd be surprised
if Solo wins that. I mean, it could be that Drew tries and then still fails because Roman still beats Solo, because I think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you never know. Joe B has been a member for 15 months now. Member of the Friendo Club, says, what was with Triple H revealing the hardcore title recently? Could WWE use this and have celebrities win at Netflix premieres? So when Triple H showed up to Travis Scott concert, I think it was, Travis Scott's going to be doing the Raw theme. It was actually kind of cool. And I'm surprised nobody else really mentioned this, or there wasn't a better picture of it that I saw anyways. But it was like a current WWE title, but it's kind of smashed up like the hardcore title.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. I don't think it's going to go any further. I think maybe Travis Scott's people told WWE, hey, he was a big fan of the hardcore championship, and then they did that for him. That would kind of make some sense.
That would make a lot of sense. No, I wouldn't necessarily see that as foreshadowing anything. No.
Yeah. But I don't know if I'd want to. I think we've talked about the idea of some of these, monster type characters like Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, maybe even the other Braun Breaker, having some sort of, FTW type title, an Extreme Rules title. I think that'd be really, really cool, because I think there are certain feuds that, and the two dudes that I mentioned, Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, specifically, mainly Bronson Reed. But then you also get dudes like Jacob Fatu that would fit really well into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where let's get a title where there are no countouts, where maybe it's a Falls Count Anywhere title, or at least, a no DQ hardcore type title. You don't need the, chair shots to the head and shit like that for it. It could just be a title where the rules are loosened up a little bit. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it would be too. I think that'd be pretty great. Let's talk about Dynamite. I actually thought last night's show was actually pretty solid. I could have done without the tag match, Patriarchy taking on Hook and Shibata. It didn't really do much for me, but otherwise I thought the show as a whole was relatively entertaining. It had one of, if not the best TV match of the year.
Yeah.
With Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay. Absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, this was one of those crazy matches. You got two guys who, when Darby can range from, oh, he's just doing crazy shit, and then it's sort of, whatever, because we've seen him do crazy shit all the time.
Yeah.
But when he really has an opponent that, like, for example, Darby versus Jack Perry was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But then when he gets an opponent that it's like, oh, wow, this person knows how to tell a story in the ring and really knows how to make the most out of Darby's creativity.
That's it. That's the thing.
And that's Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
And so you get this match with these two guys, and they just absolutely kill it. They just absolutely do a phenomenal job.
Good. I mean, I think amidst all of Darby's crazy stuff he does, they've mentioned this on the show, he used to be like an amateur wrestler.
Mm-hmm,
like it wasn't like he got into the pro wrestling world just wanting to jump into things and off things, like he has a wrestling background, and he has an opportunity to show that. Like he had that this was years ago. I think it was Full Gear 2021, I think.
Mm-hmm, yeah. That
match against MJF.
Yeah.
That opened the show. Where it was just like 15 minutes of just awesome, like chain wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's in situations where he could showcase other aspects of his skill set other than throwing himself into things, usually good stuff happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you get someone that's wildly creative, like Ospreay, both of them are super athletic, super quick, and really smooth in the ring. And there's some incredible sequences in that match last night. Just so good. It was good.
Quick update here. Alex has it right in the YouTube chat. It says because Travis Scott uses Cactus Jack as his nickname.
That's right. That's
there
it.
There you go. That's what it is.
I should know that.
Thank you, Alex.
I should have thought that.
I had that. I had the McDonald's meal, the Cactus Jack McDonald's meal.
That's right.
I think I got that back when it came out.
You did.
Let's talk and rewind just a second here. Big picture AEW. I enjoyed a lot of it last night, and it's one of those things where you and I have talked about this. The one thing AEW really needs is that thing where they put together a lot of segments that people are really into and makes you want more. And it's a very simple thing. I heard Cornette spiel, at least part of it, talking about what he thinks is plaguing AEW right now. And he says that, and I listened to like the first 10 minutes of it because I had to get going. We were going all last night. And so maybe he expanded on this. But he said, it's the people that Tony is choosing to spotlight. That's the problem. And I disagree with that aspect of it thoroughly, because I think that you can take, as long as somebody has talent and charisma, which I think a lot of the people in AEW have, as long as you write them well, they'll succeed and your promotion will succeed. So I think it's in the stories, and maybe he addresses that later as like a half-hour block. And I listened to the first 10 minutes, but that was the first thing that he started out with. But again, if you write some compelling stuff, I think it'll be good. I think that and I know there was a lot of pushback on this, but I'm glad that you and I are on the same page. We talked about this a little bit in the pre-show, but and we'll get into it more detail in a second here. But the Ricochet Hurt Business Swerve stuff, I really liked, and that's one of those things. I want to know what the hell's going to happen next because I don't know, but I'm pretty intrigued by it.
Yeah, same.
The C2 stuff, especially if you put Darby and Ospreay in a match like that, nobody's going to complain. That's just really, really good stuff. I'm still kind of like, on the Death Rider stuff. I like Hangman and all them, but I'm like, I love the Tony Storm stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, all the women's stuff I really liked. MJF stuff, I can leave. I can fast forward through that stuff. And then, like you said, the patriarchy stuff, I'm sitting there like, why is this on here? But yeah, there were a bunch, like half of Dynamite was the kind of stuff that, hey, if you give me more of that, I'm going to want more of that next week.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I thought there was a lot to appreciate about Dynamite.
No, I thought so too. Let's talk about the Ricochet stuff. We don't have to go into the details, but essentially,
Well, not just because we were talking about the Darby stuff. Darby won. There was that cop. I mean, we might as well just sort of talk about the Darby stuff because that's sort of first on the list here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Darby ended up winning his match with
two coffin drops
after missing one on the apron, which was rough.
Not just on the apron. He landed right on the corner of the apron.
Yeah, that was
like there's no give on that. At least I know they say the apron is hardest part of the ring, but the padding of the ring goes all the way to the edge of the apron. But if you hit the edge,
Do you think? Let me ask you something though, and
sure.
maybe this is just me being a fuddy-duddy, wishful thinking, pearl clutching dude, right? Knowing that he's gonna do that spot, is there any chance? And maybe just lie to me that Santa Claus is real. Is there any chance they put some extra padding there, knowing that that spot is particularly nasty? You don't think so?
No.
Wow.
Did you hear it?
Well, it's gonna make a sound anyway.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think
I could be
so?
wrong, but no, I don't think so.
I hope they do. They probably don't. They're probably
I
right.
hope they would too. But I don't know. Short of larger stunts, like obviously when Darby did the bit where he jumped off the ladder through the pane of glass, that had to be communicated to people because they need to be prepared for whatever eventualities may happen because of that.
Yeah, that was rough.
Like the major stunts, I would assume that to be communicated across departments. But a situation where two wrestlers are putting their match together, you know, what is for Darby a relatively run-of-the-mill spot, does that have to be communicated with anybody to get any sort of approval? And if it doesn't, I don't know if Darby is going to go to someone on the ring crew and say, hey, pull extra piece of foam right there.
Wasn't there? There was a thing about that. Like, was that AEW like 2-3 years ago when it was like certain moves had to get clearance?
Yeah.
What the hell ever happened to that?
I guess they clear everything.
I wonder if that even is a thing anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I vaguely remember that. That's funny.
Yeah, I do. Now that you mention that, I remember that as well. Yeah, that move sucked. That looked like it was awful.
That looked horrible.
Just absolutely horrible. But anyways, there's a couple great spots where Darby's looking for a code red, and Ospreay like flips him off his back, hits him with a hidden blade, and then Darby ends up responding with a code red. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was super cool.
But eventually, yeah, Darby gets the win clean. So in terms of the implications for the C2, I believe in the Gold League, Ospreay has 9 points, and now Darby has 9 points, I believe.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
I think that's what it is. Fletcher lost to Mark Briscoe on Collision, so he has 9 points too. Okada has 7. I'm just going off memory here.
Yeah.
So in the Blue League, it looks like Okada and Fletcher are probably going to be the two that advance.
Okay. So right now, according to Meltzer's site, is this current? It says Darby has 6.
Okay, that could be.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's what it is. A lot of people have 6. So Ospreay, Ricochet, Claudio, Darby have 6.
Oh, they only have 6. Oh, but if Ospreay had 1, he'd have 9. Okay, got it.
So there is a person who has 9 over in Blue League. That's Kyle Fletcher's
That's
got
Kyle
9.
Fletcher, and Okada has 7, I believe.
You're right about Okada. Briscoe's got 6. Shelton's got 6. Garcia's got 4. And then, not surprisingly, Mortos and Commander have a donut.
Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing.
So who has 6 in Gold League again? Ospreay, Darby.
Yeah, Ospreay, Darby, Claudio, Ricochet. It doesn't say what the. Oh, here's the upcoming matches. So we got on Rampage. We've got Commander versus Brody King. Brody King's going to win that.
Yeah.
On Collision, Darby versus Claudio. Do you think Darby's turned that corner? Like, is it?
I think the match last night was that. Yeah.
I think it was. So I think Darby's going to get his win back over Claudio because Claudio beat him.
Yeah, so Darby will have 9.
Yeah. Ospreay versus Ricochet.
Ospreay should win that. It should be Ospreay and Darby advancing from the Gold League, and then Okada and Fletcher from Blue.
Do you... Okay.
And since Darby has a win over Ospreay, he'd finish first, and he would face Okada.
Okay. Briscoe versus Mortos.
Maybe they'll give Mortos a win.
They've been giving Briscoe a bunch of wins. I would think that Mortos would have to win just to like facilitate the story here. Like, yeah, Briscoe's not going to move ahead anywhere. Yeah. Garcia versus Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton will probably win that to motivate a TNT title match at the pay-per-view.
Okay. And then on Dynamite next week, on Christmas.
So apparently it is airing Christmas Day, but they're shooting it Sunday.
Ah, okay. All right.
We'll have to have a conversation about our schedule for that.
We'll have a conversation then. Ospreay versus Brody King is going down on Christmas Day.
Ospreay will win that.
Darby versus Ricochet. Ricochet's got to win because they're about to do something big with Ricochet, I think.
Yeah. He's not going to win the tournament because I feel like he's going to get involved in the Swerve, her Syndicate stuff.
Okay. Claudio versus Commander.
Claudio.
Okada versus Shelton Benjamin. Fucking A, that's going to be a hell of a
looking forward
match.
to that one.
Oh my God, that's going to be boy. I
Okada
love
will
it.
win that one.
Her Syndicate's terrifying. And then Garcia versus Fletcher.
Fletcher. Well, gosh, they can't have Garcia losing too many times.
Yeah, he's the TNT champion. Garcia,
Maybe
Fletcher's already at 9 points right now.
Yeah, maybe that'll go to a draw.
Oh, that could be.
That might go to a draw.
For 2 draws for Garcia.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, we'll see.
In other C2 action last night, Shelton Benjamin beat Beast Mortos with the hurt fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Lashley and MVP get in the ring, and Lashley starts beating up Mortos, and MVP tells Shelton, hey, give him more, what you gave him during the match. So he gives him a German suplex, and MVP says, Daniel Garcia, this is what you have to look forward to on Saturday. So Garcia comes out and says, I'm not stupid. I can do the math. There's 3 of you, 1 of me. I know what's going to happen if I come to the ring right now. And MVP says, yeah, you'd be pretty stupid to come down here, huh? And Garcia says, I don't care, though, because everyone in D.C. wants to see a fight tonight. So he goes to the ring. He's about to. Mark Briscoe comes and joins them. They get in the ring. Hurt Syndicate destroys them all.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Shelton then gets the TNT title, poses with it, leans down Garcia, talks some shit, and then holds the title up.
Also, Will Ospreay. So we talked about the Ospreay Darby stuff. That was really awesome. So let's talk about that Hurt Syndicate, man, because I thought this was pretty interesting. And you know what? You and I kind of have a theory here going in terms of, because we don't know what the hell's going on backstage. We don't know who's writing what, who's clearing. Well, we know Tony Khan's clearing everything, but like who's coming to him with ideas. And you can sort of look at the inconsistent nature of AEW's creative as one of the hallmarks of AEW. They just sort of let the wrestlers, to a degree, the wrestlers have the freedom to do stuff as long as Tony Khan clears it.
Yeah.
But there's no, it's seemingly, I mean, I'm sure, look, he said he's got like a ton of writers over there, but whatever the system is fairly inconsistent.
Yeah.
Swerve seems like a guy, and whether it's with Will Washington or whatever the situation is, who kind of has some pull there to write really good stuff for himself. Mm-hmm. Right now, that includes the Hurt Syndicate. I have no idea. It would not shock me if Team Swerve was working with Team MVP to put this whole thing with Ricochet and all of them together.
Absolutely.
Because it's really good.
It is good. It is good.
Ricochet, being a total geek, has to be leading somewhere, and he is playing the role of total geek right now really, really well. As we saw last night. So Shivani has an interview with Ricochet. Ricochet's dressed to the nines, very dapper guy.
Great suit.
And Tony says, hey, so talk about this change of attitude we've seen with you. And he says, and Ricochet, with a height of confidence, saying, doesn't look real good on me, though. And the Hurt Syndicate come to the ring. Ricochet's like, hey, what's good, guys? I'm glad you're out here. We collectively, we all look good. Because for weeks now, he's been pulling out MVP's, he's
been like
card.
flaunting it almost. Like, look, I
right.
have a card. Yeah.
And he's like, we look good. I'm glad you guys come out here. I want to ask you, MVP, if you saw how I beat the brakes off Commander. Did you see how I handled Brody King? And MVP's like, very kind of dismissively, uh-huh. Yeah, we saw it. Uh-huh. And he's like, I've got 6 points in the C2. He said, Shelton, tonight after your match, maybe you'll have 6 points too, and we can have this business on lock all together, right? And MVP's like, yeah, he's like, you don't say, keep the business on lock. And Ricochet's like, yeah. He says, the 2 guys I've left in this tournament face off tonight, so, I'm going to keep an eye on that. But this Saturday, I've got Ospreay, and he's going to see a different side of Ricochet. You feel me? He's trying to get something at MVP. And they're all just you could tell, oh, this is a bad situation.
Yeah.
So MVP says, yeah, you still got my business card on you? Let me see that thing. So Ricochet pulls it out of his pocket, and in just the most violent fashion, Bobby Lashley just grabs him by the fucking neck. And MVP takes the card from him and rips it up. So MVP gets in the mic and he says, Ricochet, nobody likes a kiss ass. And so Bobby lets go of Ricochet, does that very demeaning straightening of the suit and tie thing.
And the firm pat on the back, yeah.
Yeah, and so Ricochet, stumbles out, gets out of the ring, looks like an asshole, walks up, and he's like, no, we'll talk about this later. We'll talk about this later.
Yeah.
So MVP tells Shelton, he's like, hey, you got some business to take care of. Go hurt somebody. And dude, the thing that I love kind of most about this is, number one, they come off as just mean dudes. Like mean dudes. And the look of just ice cold on Shelton's face. Like, I don't give a shit about you. Mm-hmm. I'm out here for, and by the way, they got the cool shirts now.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I don't give a shit. Like, it's just, he comes off like a scary dude. And the way they've been booking him as a wrestler is $1 million. Oh, it's really good stuff. So later on in an interview backstage, Renee asks him, hey, is the Hurt Business off the table? And he kind of stumbles through it to answer. He's like, I'm not going to worry about all that. I'm worried about the C2. I'm at 6 points in this Saturday. I got Ospreay, one of the reasons I came to AEW. And he turns to leave, and Swerve's standing there. And Swerve dismissively says, what's up, turd? He says, I knew it was only a matter of time before the real Trevor would show up. After 14 years of knowing you, I'd figure you'd change, but you're still the same Trevor, a follower. That's not going to work in whose house? Swerve's house. Ricochet says, yeah, I know the real you too. And I didn't win the C. You didn't win the C2, and it's going to eat you up when I do. So Ricochet leaves, and Swerve says, that's why he's still bald. So look, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I left WWE, now they're treating him like crap. There is no fucking way. And who knows if they'll stick the landing on it. Maybe he'll end up a geek. But just like with Drew McIntyre, for example, you got to buy into this to get anything out of it. Just like Swerve had plenty of losses before he became world champion. And if he's with Swerve, as we've seen with Swerve stuff, it is quality stuff. You buy into it, you put faith in it. This has got to pay off. I don't know how. This has got to pay off somehow.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people complaining about, they're burying Ricochet. They made him look like a fool. He's a geek. He's a nerd.
Yeah.
They're telling the story.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is how it's going to play out, but one way it could play out is this is all a plot from Hurt Syndicate for Swerve to drop his guard some. Mm-hmm. Swerve is in a situation where he needs a tag partner. Ricochet says, I'm your dude.
Oh, shit.
And then during the match, Ricochet turns on Swerve and joins Hurt Syndicate officially.
Damn.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's a good one. All this ha-ha stuff. Yeah.
You got two of those last night.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so they're leaning into it. It's like, dude, there's no way. Here's the thing. Look, you can criticize Tony Khan, you can criticize AEW, but if you actually stop for a second and analyze the damn show and break the show down a little bit, you can see, there are various islands there. Some of them are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Some of them overshadow the good with how they're kind of not good.
Yes.
And that sort of is the thing about AEW is the freedom that the wrestlers have seemingly there does segment the show, and it doesn't feel like a total narrative.
No,
but those segments can be very good, and we've seen that. You cannot tell me that Swerve Hangman stuff from this past year wasn't goddamn good storytelling.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but people are saying that simply aren't even trying at this point.
Oh yeah. It's the catch-22 of not having an overriding creative vision kind of directing the show.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And when you give, it's great when you give the talents involved a lot of creative leeway because they get to inform the direction of their creative. But that at times can cut at the cost of the idea that, all right, there's somebody driving this whole thing.
Yeah.
With a cohesive vision.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of, historically speaking, a bit lacking from AEW. And your hope is, as a viewer, the good just outshines the meh. Because very rarely is AEW actively terrible.
Yeah, it's not.
I can't think of it. I can't think of any segments where I watch it. I'm like, gosh darn it, this is embarrassing to watch.
I mean, sometimes Jericho straddles that line.
Yeah, I just don't pay attention to him though.
Yeah. Yeah. Like most of the time I just sort of tune the stuff out that I'm not into. Like MJF, honestly, I tuned out a lot of that promo. It was like, okay.
Yeah, I just kind of went on.
Can you do something new, dude? Can you do anything new here? But honestly, like if you go back through AEW for 2024 and I'm just using this as one example, and you put together like a DVD compilation of everything that Swerve Strickland was in.
DVD?
Yeah, DVD. Or a playlist. I don't know.
Carry on DVD. I like the idea of physical media. Carry on.
You know why? Because somebody put mentioned on Blue Sky how great it would be if they put together a DVD compilation of Tony Storm's stuff, like all the timeless stuff. And I'm like, hey, that'd be great. Everybody talks about physical media these days because, like, you don't know what Zaslav's going to rob from us next. Yes. You know, so that's why I'm bringing up physical media stuff. But yeah, if there was a compilation of if you just watched all the Swerve stuff, you'd be like, God damn, this is really good. Like, what is this company?
Yeah, you do that. You do the Hangman Kenny Young Bucks stuff.
Yeah, it'd be like, holy shit, this company's on fire.
You do the MJF CM Punk feud.
Yeah, you do CM Punk's 1 month on Collision.
You do the 2 weeks of Punk and Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, again,
there has been good stuff.
Yeah, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa.
Yeah,
but
the Tony Storm. Yeah, everything Tony Storm and Mariah May. Like, there's plenty of good stuff. Like I said, the hope is that there's the good just overshadows the stuff that may not be as good.
Yeah,
or there's more of the good than not.
Yeah, for sure.
But if it was a situation where Tony Khan was like, no, this has to happen to the letter, and maybe it'd be more consistent, but would he have the highs that we have now?
I'm not saying it's not a big problem because they are bleeding viewers.
Yeah, they are.
They are bleeding viewers.
But I'm saying in this situation, if Tony Khan is the one that we have to rely on to kind of have a firmer hand, the creative things, is that going to be a net positive, though?
Right, yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, before we continue on with our NXT, with our AEW recap, and then followed by NXT, I want to bring this up really quick. Larson, 2024, we had a major goal in mind, and that was 200,000 subs.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we hit that. That happened this year, right?
Yeah, that happened this year.
Yeah, okay, good. I just want to make sure it wasn't 2023. All these damn 2020 years are blending together.
Time's circling also.
It was a wondrous occasion, and we're still planning on making a short feature-length film.
We still have to do that, don't we?
We do have to. I've got an idea for it. We just got to do it. So we've got that in the can. Like 200,000, we did it, beat it, passed it, right? I've got a new goal, and it's a very special one. And I'm going to mention, I mentioned it. We filmed something earlier yesterday. I'm going to just go up later on today, but I'm going to bring this up now. It's my goal for 2025. It's one thing that I want to see happen, and it is the WrestleMania Predictions Challenge. I want to see 500 Friendos participate. Now, between our Friendo Club setup members on Patreon, on YouTube channel memberships, we've got over 500 Friendos there, but I want 500 Friendos to participate in these predictions challenges because there's so much fun, and there's so much more fun when there's more people involved.
Correct.
So, we're not announcing this yet, but there will be a special prize on the line for the WrestleMania challenge. Yes, there will be a special hat, but there will be something much bigger than that. We're not going to tell you what it is until the time comes. But the big predictions challenge for WrestleMania, I want to see 500 Friendos participate. So we got to get to that point. So I'm going to ask all the Friendos, if you're already signed up for the Friendo Club membership, if you're a channel club member, or if you're a patron sub at $5 and up, start participating in these challenges. And if you haven't signed up yet, you can do that now by clicking join right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson, or go to patreon.com/Steven Larson and click on the Friendo Club setup. World's End is coming up. The big predictions challenge is coming up there. If you haven't signed up for it now, it's probably too late to win this particular big blue hat, but you can always make a statement. You could put us on notice by participating in the December last challenge. It is the World's End one coming up, AEW. And then January, it's a new month. We've got the Raw on Netflix as part of the predictions challenge. And is there anything else? I forget. Oh, Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, for January, yeah.
So we've got those for January. It's the new predictions challenge. Come up with a new hat for that one. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Maybe like a Netflix themed hat. We'll do like
maybe. You can take the Raw logo instead of Raw, put like Big Blue or something like that.
It'd be Big Blue. That would be yeah.
That would work.
Yeah. Chris Deaton says you should post results after each time. I should do that. I did that I think last month for the total thing. But after every event, I should be posting that. So maybe I'll do that as well.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Also on Dynamite, they're doing some promotion for Kenny Omega's eventual return. Of course, he has a match at Wrestle Dynasty on January 5th.
That's looking to be a really good show.
It is looking to be a good show.
Yeah, Mina versus Mercedes. Yeah.
Excalibur through to a video package. Said AEW hopes to see him very soon. So you got to imagine Kenny's going to be coming back early 2025. All right, let's talk about this mess of the main event scene. Mox is defending his AEW title in a 4-way match against Hangman Page, Jay White, and Orange Cassidy. So the show opens with an interview with Orange Jay. And Renee asks him essentially, are you focused on the match at all tonight, the main event, the 6-man tag, or just strictly getting the World's End and winning the title? And Jay White does most of the talking and says, my focus is on winning the championship, but to do that, I have to get through the match tonight, which means I have to trust people I don't normally rely on. I don't have Bang Bang Gang by my side, so I got to rely on Orange and Hangman. But I'm not so stupid as to rely on Page, because the only thing he's good at is letting himself and everyone else down. So if there's one man that we don't need on our team, and then that's when Hangman walks in. Mm-hmm. Already just pissed off. Mm-hmm. And he just screams at him, says, tonight, Mox is mine. He's not yours, and he's not yours. And he walks out. They all walk out. So the main event happens.
I did like Jay's reaction to Hangman because he's talking shit about him. And then he comes, he's like, oh, there he is. So Hangman's going crazy and he walks off. He's like, well, at least you wore a matching black jacket. That's good. Jay White was pretty funny here.
He was pretty funny. So in the main event, decent enough match, as you'd expect, went all over the place. Early on, though, Hangman walks out after Hangman's in. He throws Yuta into the Death Rider's corner and demands that Mox tags in. So Mox does, but then Jay White tags in. So he and Page argue, and Hangman walks out on his team. Eventually, he comes back in to attack Mox towards the finish. Orange hits Yuta with a stun dog, and then Page hits Yuta with a buckshot. Then Jay hits Pac with a Blade Runner. But then Jay and Page start arguing. So then Mox rolls up Orange to get the win. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the show, Orange is trying to get in between Page and Jay because they're arguing, and they just shove him aside, just super dismissive. So he tries to push him back and stuff. While this is happening, Mox is grabbing a chair. Death Riders surround the ring, and then Jay, Orange, and Page all realize, oh, we're cornered. They end up all fighting off Death Riders. Mm-hmm. So basically the story beat is when they're at each other's throats, they lose. If they can work together, they'll win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Marina escorts Mox to safety while everybody else in the Death Riders gets beat up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, why is this match happening? But I get it. It's basically to promote the main event. Yeah. It's not really like a necessary story beat or a story twist. It's just
no, because we know that's the situation.
Yeah, right. So, yeah. Again, it's one of those things where it's like every segment, every match you have really should forward something. I don't know if this did that, but
I don't know either.
I like this. So we had this Tony Storm RJ City interview. Tony Storm, Portrait of a Rock Star. And the whole gimmick is she's got some, what do you call it, dissociative personality disorder or whatever, where she thinks that she is brand new and none of the timeless stuff has happened. So RJ City is kind of figuring all that out. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so where have you been? And she's like, well, I'm from Gold Coast, Australia. I love wrestling, rock music, and the grind. And I meant to go back and try to see if any of her WWE promos were that. You remember
oh yeah they had video packages where her whole gimmick was I like rock music.
It's very surface level bullshit, and that's how this came off.
Yes.
She said I've seen every, and he was like, okay, well, talk about your time in AEW. Well, yeah, no, I've seen every episode of AEW. It's great. And she's like, oh, he's like, okay, well, we'll talk about being 3-time AEW Women's World Champion. And she gets all sheepish. She's like, oh, it's a little early to be worried about all that. And he's like, okay, what about Saraya? What do you think about her? She says, icon. What do you think of Mercedes Moné? Legend. And then what do you think about Mariah May? Oh, she's the best in the world today. And RJ says, what about Timeless? And Tony's like, no, you got it wrong. It's Tony Time. It's like, Tony Time. And he's like, okay, yeah, Tony Time, sure. So he's like, oh, something's wrong here.
Yeah, there was the smallest of pauses before answering when he brought up Mariah.
Yeah, there was, yeah. Sorry, yeah, W.S. Fletcher says dissociative identity disorder. That's what it is.
There it is. Speaking of Mariah, she's in a feud with Thunder Rosa, so she had a promo. Says, Thunder, when you were working as a social worker, why did you ever become a wrestler? Was it to make your family proud? Cute. A hero is just a dreamer who doesn't realize they're dreaming. I'm not a hero. I spent my entire career looking out for me, and I'd say it served me pretty well. How dare you say this women's division is alive and well when I've eclipsed everyone just by being me? If I was here 4 years ago, you wouldn't have even been hired. So let's do your Tijuana street fight, and please bring your father. I'd love to end 2 generations in one night. Papa Rosa. Does being a failure run in the family? I won't be bringing my father to World's End. I don't want him to see what I'm going to do.
Wow. That should be a really good match.
Yeah, it should be really good.
Speaking of really good, we had Mercedes Moné defending her TBS title against Anna Jay. Thought this was a really good match as well. Mm-hmm. We had a Moné maker get the win for Mercedes Moné.
Hey, and how about the Mercedes shout out to Bayley with that sunset flip powerbomb to the corner?
Yeah, that was cool.
All right, let's get through. We'll speed run this MJF stuff. So he comes to the ring and pretty much says, it's the holiday season. I'm feeling philanthropic, so I have a charity drive, fundraiser that I'm doing, and every buy for World's End, a piece of that will go to this foundation. He says, imagine a small child sitting across from you. This child is starving. It needs nourishment. It needs food. And he says, now this is the picture of that baby, and it's just a Photoshop picture of Adam Cole, just like really skinny.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And that's just the joke of it.
Yeah.
So Adam Cole shows up at the Tron, and he goes, hey, now I'm the one on the screen, and you're the one in the ring looking like an idiot. So did Adam Cole feel like an idiot when he was in the ring and MJF was on the Tron? It sounds that way.
Well, yeah, I probably would.
Yeah, I would too.
It's like, I'm calling a guy out, and he just shows up on TV, filmed in 24 frames. I'd be like, I feel like kind of an idiot now. I didn't even know he wasn't here. I thought he would be here.
Yeah. So Adam Cole says, we're facing off for that Dynamite Diamond ring at World's End. I know you want it, and if you want to try to get your hands on it before the bell rings, you're going to have to earn it because the Kingdom are essentially like the ringside enforcers for the match because Taven and Bennett are with Cole. Or at least Taven and Bennett would be allowed to come to ringside with Cole for the match. He said I had a conversation with Tony Khan, which makes it seem like Taven and Bennett will be involved in a more official capacity. Yeah. Anyways. He's like, gosh, I forget. I swear I'm forgetting something. Oh, yeah, Max, am I kicking your ass yet? And so while this is happening, Adam Cole, somehow a clone of Adam Cole, slides in the ring behind MJF, lays him out, hits him with a super kick. He looks for a Panama Sunrise, but then MJF gets out of the ring.
So the guy on the Tron was actually just Chugs.
That's what it is.
Yeah, because there's a YouTuber Twitch guy named Chugs that looks exactly like Adam Cole.
I know it's the resemblance is really uncanny.
So we got him up there on the Tron, and then real Adam Cole came in and did that. I think that's the idea there. We got an FTR promo where they say they're out for the rest of the year, which is just like, I don't know, less than 2 weeks. Cash says they're just like in one of their living rooms.
Yeah, it looks like their family room. They're sitting on a couch.
Yeah.
They sort of say they're out for the rest of the year, and they say they got their ass kicked by the Death Riders because they were trying to help Orange Cassidy. That's pretty much it. And said they'll be the Fight for the Fallen on January 1st.
Yeah, the Asheville show.
He says they're not coming alone.
Oh, yeah. Who are they going to come? Is Edge ready?
Cope. It's Cope.
Cope?
He lives in Asheville.
No more cage matches for Cope.
Well,
nothing.
Don't jump off anything high.
Yeah, no top or second turnbuckle.
So is Cope going to get involved in this Death Rider story then?
Ideally, yeah. Why not? Maybe it'll pick up some steam. Cope versus Mox, sure, do that. I don't know. It's the sort of thing. It's like, okay, we'll just stick on your aisle. Hey, I'm underwhelmed by the Death Rider stuff. Get Hangman out of there. Get Jay White out of there. Throw Cope in there. Sure, just do your thing. Go ahead.
Well, the reason I like Hangman and Jay White involved is I can at least try to fool myself into thinking that they're going to beat Mox for the title.
Oh no, it was Darby. Darby just beat Ospreay.
I know.
Dude, that's one thing we didn't talk about. The fact
that
that
match
Darby beat Ospreay.
Yeah, clean.
Clean. He beat him clean. So no, that dude is the next world champion.
He is. I know he is. So I said I'm trying to fool myself into thinking otherwise.
Hey, you're too smart for that, man. Come on, you're too away.
I don't know about that. Jamie Hayter addressed Julia Hart, calls her a coward, says it was a classless move to attack her from behind on Collision. Says, I got a message for you. Fight for the fallen. I'm going to serve you a dish, best served cold, a heavy dose of Haterade.
Now an hater.
So we're going to get Julia Hart taking on Jamie Hayter.
Yeah.
Fight for the fallen.
That'll be good. That'll be good.
And
then we had Hook and Shibata battling Nick Wayne and Christian in tag team action. Christian hit. Shibata. What is this? Shibata hits Wayne with a PK. Christian hits Shibata with a kill switch when the ref is distracted. And then he just sort of put Nick Wayne on him for the cover to get the win.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Not a whole lot of heat for this feud.
Not really. No.
Not really. No. We got another Bandito video package. This was a supercut of highlights plus some of the footage from the old West Town stuff.
And then, hey, this was actually filmed really well. You think they got permits for this?
Oh, the Jericho stuff?
Jericho roaming around New York City. Not a chance.
No chance.
Not a chance.
No chance.
I mean, they just probably brought out some sort of, little decent camera. Because it was filmed nicely.
Yeah, it looked decent.
It looked really good. But it was just Jericho roaming around New York.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we're just doing home movies for Chris Jericho. He's carrying around a title.
Yeah, I think
that's see broadcast.
Yeah, this is not going to see broadcast. I just want to,
I don't know. But he declared himself king of New York.
You think TBS demands to see location permits and location waivers and
a lot of other media companies probably, but given the shoestring budget seemingly a lot of Warner Brothers Discovery's operations are being operated under, I would be surprised if they're going to be that particular about it.
You think Zaslav clears guerrilla filmmaking?
Man, if it saves him some money.
Yeah, you think Superman was going around getting what do they call stealing shots?
Stealing shots, yeah. Yep.
James Gunn with his black magic camera.
Yep.
Could be.
All right, let's talk NXT. So NXT, say what you will about the finish to NXT, it leaves you wanting to know what's going to happen next. So the main event saw Eddie Thorpe challenge Trick Williams for the NXT title. And the finish was a little clunky. So Eddie is hitting Trick with running boots, a couple of them. Looks for a third. Trick then comes out of the corner with a trick shot. He falls on Eddie to get the cover, but right as he does that, so Trick falls, but his own shoulders are down.
Yeah.
So Eddie just places his hand on Trick. Earlier in the match, there was a ref bump. So we had a second ref who just happened to be there, ready to go.
Smart move by Ava or HBK or whoever.
And then the first ref slides in to count this cover. They each count the pinfall for each of them.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So one ref saying Trick won, one ref saying Eddie won. And so Ava comes ringside and is like, all right, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Yeah. They did I was conflating the two. They did a social media thing where HBK comes out too.
Is that when Eddie Thorpe pushes?
He shoves him.
Yeah.
And because the ref had said
Trick's still the champ. Yeah.
The ref said, they said, Ava said, both sets of shoulders were down. So, and still.
Yeah.
Trick
basically
Williams.
No contest.
Yeah,
Double
right.
pin.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would imagine this is going to, what's the next big New Year's Evil? Is that the next big thing they got?
Yeah.
So they'll do.
It was already going to be Trick and Obafemi.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah.
Put the title there.
Oh, that's how they're going to prolong it by throwing Eddie Thorpe in as a triple threat. He's going to eat that
someone
pin.
Not named Obafemi or Trick Williams can eat that pin.
Yeah, that's how it's going to go. Yeah.
Yep.
W.S. Fletcher, I said both sets of shoulders. I didn't say both shoulders. I said both sets of shoulders.
NXT was from the Lowell Memorial Auditorium. Is that what it was?
Yeah, man, the Memorial Auditorium, but not here in Sacramento.
Historic venue in the annals of wrestling, at least WWE.
I love this, man. I think it's great. I thought that they need to probably upgrade their production rig, but it probably costs a lot of money to bring proper cameras in because it was like desaturated and it looked. But like the crowd was great. The venue was
has tons of character.
Beautiful.
I know.
Beautiful venue. And I love to see them go out on the road like this. Wish they would do it more. Hopefully they will.
Hopefully they will, because it was a thing where Raw was in Boston on Monday, NXT in the area on Tuesday. So you got to think production people were sticking around town to help out with NXT. Like, do this more regularly, especially when Raw is in the major metro markets.
Yeah,
when they're in your Boston, New York, Philly, L.A., Houston, Dallas. At the minimum, have your Raw, have your NXT from a smaller venue in the area with character, or an arena on a college campus.
Yeah, man.
And do this stuff because the vibe is better. You get these buildings with character and great crowds. It enhances the show in a major way.
Yeah.
It really does. Hopefully they do it more often.
I agree, man. Not going to disagree with that. So we also had, I love this story, Fraxium.
Oh, it's great.
So just like at the Iron Survivor pay-per-view Deadline, thank you, where Nathan Frazier pulled double duty, this week they set it up so that Axiom, this was set up last week, Axiom was taking on Obafemi, and Fraxium defended against Gallus.
Yeah.
Luckily for them, Gallus boys are not the Obafemi of the tag division.
Gallus
they are more like
top.
the Lexus King of the tag division, because even
though
though
Lexus King's in a pretty good situation right now.
You think he's going to win that Heritage Cup?
I'm not going to comment.
Oh, they did the thing, didn't they? They did the double taping. Okay, and you looked ahead, didn't you? Let me ask you something. Did you search for it, or did it just come to you?
Yep. Sometimes when things pop up, I'm like, I'm curious what happens, and then I'll just look at it.
Okay.
I didn't search it out.
But so it came to you, and then you engaged.
Yeah, I couldn't resist.
You couldn't resist. Yeah, man. So I don't know what's going to happen. But, and anyway, let's go back to Fraxium. Of course, Axiom put up a good challenge to Obafemi. It was a hell of a match. But in the end, it's Obafemi. He's the destroyer. And so he lost with a power bomb. Yeah.
And then, but Fraxium beat Gallus. How many times could Frazier hit Axiom with a move or vice versa, and they can still be a team? Because it happens basically every one of their matches.
Hey, who won the match, man?
I guess
if you and I decide to play some, 3-on-3, we bring Hilton on, and how many times does Larson accidentally hit Hilton in the face during game basketball, which is weird, and then vice versa, but we win every single time? I don't think you'd care.
Maybe it's necessary to get that out of you, If there's any lingering beef or resentment, just get it out of you.
Yeah, you and Hilton, definitely.
And then work together.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
So if I get a rebound and accidentally elbow him in the face,
so be it, get the win.
These things happen sometimes.
Exactly.
Ethan Page actually had a really good segment on NXT.
Javon Evans fucking killed this promo.
Yeah,
oh my God. He
really
killed
did.
Both these guys. This is fucking kill. This is the best thing Ethan Page has done since he's been in NXT. And this is the best thing Javon Evans has done in terms of a promo.
Steve, this is the best thing Ethan Page has done since he's left Impact.
Well, yeah, that's the same thing since he's been in NXT.
No, he made a stop in between.
Oh, that's right. He was in AEW.
He was in AEW. So this all kind of set up because Javon's talking backstage to Hank and Tank and said, you got a heck of a win last week. And said, hey, maybe you'll be tag champs in 2025. And starts listing off everything he managed to accomplish. Ethan Page is sitting in the background. And he gets up and pushes past them and walks off frame. So he comes to the ring for a promo. And he gives us, I think I've lost my smile. He says, I don't know if I could do this. I keep disappointing my
Yeah.
family with every loss.
Yeah.
And so Javon comes to the ring and he says, I'm sorry for what I said back there. And he says it doesn't feel too bad hearing about other people's accomplishments because ever since you've been here, that's all we've been hearing from you. You walked in here with a cocky attitude. But Ethan, that's really not you. I know the real Ethan Page. I've seen the real Ethan. I saw him at Heatwave. It's what you did after the match. You won the title. You looked at your family. You said, I love you. Not everyone can do that. The joy you had when you saw your family after the match, that smile, it wasn't a regular smile. It was a proud dad, a proud father smile. The smile of someone who busted their ass for 18 years to get to that moment. You deserve to be here from now on. Drop the all ego. We want to see the real Ethan Page. I'm proud of you. NXT is proud of you. We're all proud of you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And it was really genuine, really heartfelt. It was great. So then Ethan says to Javon, thanks. And honestly, you're right. I shouldn't be worried about losing my smile. I should be worried about taking yours. So then he clobbers Javon in the jaw with the mic. Go gets the chair from ringside, wraps around Javon's neck, stomps on it, and then Evans just starts spewing blood.
Mm-hmm.
Spits blood all over the place. And Ethan leans over and says, oh, you want the real me? This is the real me.
Yeah. And the great thing about it, same venue that HBK cut the I Lost My Smile promo, which is fucking awesome. I love that. I love that so much. I loved this segment, dude. I thought it was great. I think that these guys have like that chemistry just between them in the ring doing this promo. You got to think, man, doing a promo is one of probably the toughest things to do in wrestling. Being out there trying to remember what the fuck you're supposed to say.
Yep.
And for Javon Evans to be so young and to just nail it the way he did, it was great. I love this. This was so good. This was so good.
It was good. It was good. We had a video package from Stephanie Vicaire calling out Cora Jade. She wants a match with her next week, and it is booked.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Sol Ruka and Zarya teamed up against Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. Lash and Jakara got the win. After
Where do you
Jakara
think
takes
that's going to lead? Where do you think that's going to lead to?
Maybe a feud between Zarya and Sol Ruka.
Oh, that could be. You lost that match for us. Yeah. That could be. Yeah, that would make sense because it feels like Metaphor's on their way out.
Yeah.
To main roster.
Yeah, it does seem that way. So Jakara hits Zarya with a suicide dive, and then Lash hits Sol Ruka with her finisher. We also got Jada Parker taking on Ren Sinclair. Jada Parker gets the win with a hip attack. Fun match. We saw Alexis King do the Dempsey workout. Completed the workout. No shortcuts.
Yeah.
So he gets his Heritage Cup match next week.
Less said about that, the better, because I don't know what happens. I don't want it spoiled to me.
All right.
So we also had Wesley. I wonder if this could lead to, when I saw this, like, oh, is this going to be a faction? Or is it just Wesley, serving as a story convention? Yeah. So backstage from last week, after Tyson and Tyreek lowered themselves by losing to Hank and Tank, they were talking about it. And Igwe was like, man, I'm not trying to be buddies with anybody here because what's his face?
Because Tyson shook their hands. But
Tyson shook their hands, yeah.
Tyreek was like, shake hands? No way.
Yeah, so there's like a disconnect between the two guys. One guy is like, shake hands, yes. The other guy, shake hands, no way. And so Wesley's like, hey, you know what? Igwe's right. No friends, no way. Keep that energy. It'll take you places. Yeah. And I was like, hey, it'd be kind of cool if they all teamed up as a faction, give Wesley something more to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, or he's just stirring the pot.
Or maybe he'll get called up.
Maybe he'll get called up. That'd be great.
So then we have a thing with Gigi, Shotzi, and Tatum. They're a faction. Speaking of factions, at least they're teaming up for the time being to take on Fatal Influence. Tatum says that Shotzi saved them last week and says that Gigi and Shotzi, the two friends that she needed, and now she doesn't have to play by herself anymore. But Gigi says, first, got to take care of Fatal Influence. JC used to be my best friend. She's stronger when she has people by her side. Tatum says, just like my dolls, I'm going to rip their heads off.
Oh, wow.
Let me get a response from Fatal Influence. They're watching this promo as it airs backstage, and they just kind of laugh it off. Talk some crap. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn step in. They talk crap to Fatal Influence. And Alba says, when I look at Gigi, Tatum, and Shotzi, I see harmony. When I see you, I see discord. I see chaos.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to get a match there with Alba and Isla probably losing to Fatal Influence.
Seems like it. But they got numbers. They got numbers, so that would make some amount of sense. Yeah, Isla Dawn's really tall. Or she just wears like really big. I looked it up because I was like, God, she's always taller than everybody when they do promos.
Yeah.
And she's 5'7". Everybody else probably like 5 feet.
Yeah.
And she might wear like, I don't know, lifts or something. It's like Darby lifts.
Yeah. Some platforms.
Some platforms, yeah.
And then we have more from the ongoing saga of Carmen Petrovich and Ashanti.
Oh, hell.
So this is from I guess people go to the PC over the weekend. Because I said
the idea is like, I like that it's kind of a dormitory feel, you know?
Clubhouse.
Yeah, yeah. Well, everybody goes to like the commons area.
They go to train. They keep maybe they go and steal somebody's lunch from the refrigerator there. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be. They've used their per diem already.
It could be, and they're like, oh, they leave their lunch over the weekend. They go, there we go. I'll eat this for lunch. Anyways, Carmen and Dion are there. They're talking. And Dion says to Carmen, last week, Ashanti, he was trying to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And you should apologize to him. And Carmen says, yeah, you're right. I should apologize. And she says, thank you, Dion. And so she hugs him. Right as Ashanti walks in, he's like, I should be going around hugging on other girls too. I cut off Nikita because of you, but I'm going to go text her right now.
Oh, wow. No. You know what's going to happen. Ashanti and Nikita.
So Carmen leaves, and Dion's like, ugh. I'm just going to stick to reading my books.
It's probably a smart move. Let's get a camera on that Ashanti and Nikita stuff, though. Let's get a camera there. Want to answer some questions?
Let's answer some questions.
I got a question. What do they look like naked? It's all jokes.
Let's see here. Let's see.
Oh, here we go. Pumpkin Savage says, is there a wrestler or wrestlers that drew you in and helped cement your love of wrestling? For instance, The Rock got me interested, but HBK kept me hooked.
There we go. I guess when I got into wrestling, it was probably Macho Man.
Oh, yeah.
I really like the British Bulldogs, too.
Interesting. Was it because of their amazing in-ring chemistry?
Because they had a dog. They had Matilda.
That goes such a long way. Like when I saw that Superman trailer today and he whistled, I was like, oh, I'm about to tear up here. Yeah. Yep. Oh, man. And then Crypto was carrying him was dragging him by the cape.
Yeah, probably go to the Fortress of Solitude, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was amazing. For me, I don't know. It's probably Hollywood Hulk Hogan. It was NWO. I thought they were so cool. I was like, this is absurd and fun, and it was a lot of. It was really cool. So sorry, man. I'm not gonna hide. No, I don't know. Like Hall and Nash, I thought they were really cool.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting that I was like, oh, Hogan's a bad guy now. That's kind of cool. And then Sting was up there in the rafters. Yeah, all the WCW shit got me hooked. Like Raven, I thought he was super cool.
Yeah, Raven was super cool, man.
Let's see here. So Go Bird says, what did you guys, I have not seen it yet. I think we've got 2 or 3 more. I think we've got 3 more episodes left of What We Do in the Shadows. Asked, what did you guys think of the finale of What We Do in the Shadows? I am loving this last season. It's fucking killing me, dude. It's so funny.
I'm only, I think 2 episodes in. I need to catch up.
Yeah.
Steve was behind for the longest time, but now I am behind.
I got stuck on season 4 because it was trash.
It wasn't very good. No.
All the baby Colin Robinson stuff was terrible. I was like, this is like, I would chuckle through it, but nothing made me want to come back to it.
No.
But then season 5, dude, Lacey and I binged that like in 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah,
That's not really
season
binging.
5 was pretty good.
But like for us, it is.
Alex Foster says, what current wrestler would make an entertaining GM after they retire? Alex suggests Beast Mortos. Frank Mortos for GM.
Frank Mortos for GM. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be good. Sure, why not?
What if Kevin
GM,
Owens is a general manager after he retires?
I want to see Darby as a general manager. Right. Listen, guys, I've got so much paperwork to do today. So just go out there and have a match.
Good. This is a good question from Luis. What are some other venues like the ECW Arena in Hammerstein you'd like to see NXT go to? Same with AEW. Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento, California.
Yeah. Dude, they came to the Memorial Auditorium in Lowell. They could do the same thing for Sacramento.
They can't. We've seen 2 NXT house shows, Memorial Auditorium.
The parking lot that is there now where the Sportatorium used to be.
There you go.
Go there.
I think of some other...
Alaska.
Just anywhere in Alaska, you're saying?
Yeah. Frozen Tundra.
Oh, you want the whole Frozen Tundra show?
Yeah.
No mat? Just permafrost they wrestle on?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Getting attacked by crazy Alaskan like animals.
Yeah, giant grizzly comes to the ring.
You think you're pretty cool, Obafemi? Take on grizzly bear. oh man, Lord Blake Whitehouse says, "Have either of you had a chance to see Wicked yet? Man, there is no movie I want to see less than Wicked."
I'm not huge on musicals.
I just don't, because it's a Wizard of Oz prequel, right?
Yeah.
No desire. I don't care about the source material.
Fair enough.
My kid saw it and she was like, dude, this would be great. Summer saw it. I brought her home and she was like, oh man, it's so good. I'm like, look, kiddo, I'm glad you like it. That makes me happy that you had a fulfilling movie going experience.
Yeah.
That is not my thing, man.
It's super long and it's only part 1 too.
Yeah, she said it's really long. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, was the play 6 hours?
Fuck if I know. I don't know.
See how.
Well, they had to have an intermission.
Yeah, and then some. Is it like an hour-long intermission?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. 2-day affair, like WrestleMania? I don't know.
Kelamiko says, who'd be the perfect Mania opponent for Costco guy? Big Boom!
Big
AJ.
Boom AJ!
You can't say
opponent?
Miz or Dom.
Snoop Dogg. Shane O'Mac.
There we go.
Shane O'Mac.
Shane's the answer.
For one move, and then Snoop Dogg takes over.
There we go.
AJ says, talking of AJ's, AJ Otani says, should NXT wrestlers have a storyline path to get in the Rumble? Yes, I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely.
You have a Rumble before the Rumble.
Yeah. Nate Cruz says, outside of Trick, Oba, and Javon, who are the contenders for being the next face of the NXT men's division? Lexus King.
I think that's the obvious answer right there. Next face. Oh, it's Javon Evans.
No, Javon is one of the names listed here.
Hell.
Maybe Ethan Page?
Ego. I'd have to see his promo, but in terms of like the look and wrestling ability, it's Tavion Heights.
Depending where he goes, it's going to be Ricky Starks.
Yeah. But then here's the thing, though. I kind of wonder if they're going to really focus on Sol Ruca. It depends on like when they're going to go to main roster, you know, like because like their women's division, and it like you see like their women's division is main eventing all the time these days. So it's like I think they're just placing the emphasis on the which is smart because like that's kind of the stronger. That's the stronger element of NXT. So, definitely you know, it's going to be whoever is going to be long-term in the women's division that's going to be a face.
Let's see. Clown here says, since Cardona has been pushing for it all year and Tony Khan is trying to get Ring of Honor a TV deal, what are the odds that final battle that we see a GCW invasion? 0.
Yeah, I mean Jericho showed up in GCW,
but apparently that was Matt Cardona's idea. That was something he pitched. That's what I read.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. If I was GCW, I'd be like, We'll do the It's One Favor Cardona, but I ain't being dicked around anymore. AJ Otani also says, which fan base has the cooler nickname, the Fletchlights or the Lex Offenders?
Oh, Fletchlights is pretty clever. I heard that when they said it on Dynamite a couple weeks ago. I was like, all right, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was pretty funny.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Timor here says, with Ricochet doing his ha-ha to end his promos, what annoying noise or phrase would you do to finish your promo?
Yeah, I thought you'd go with fart noise. I think
Fart
that makes
noise,
sense. Yeah. Fart noise, of course. Anyways, that's all the questions I have over here.
Let's see. How about this? We'll end on this one. Creamy Beef Tips says, in the spirit of the season, what current wrestler, team, or faction would you like to see in a B movie about the holidays?
Wrestler, team, or faction do you want to see in a B movie about the Gallus Boys on top? Are you kidding me? That'd be great. Yeah. Gallus Boys on top of a Christmas tree. Like they are ornaments.
The tree topper.
Yeah, but they're all like, it's a 3-man tree topper.
You press the button that plays the theme, the old one though.
Yeah, and they play ornaments, and but they have to save Christmas as ornaments.
As ornaments.
Yeah, but they're like losing wrestlers, so they don't.
It's Final Testament.
Yes, that would be outstanding. Final Testament saving Christmas would be great.
But it's a thing where Karrion Kross is like, aha, I'm going to do something to ruin Christmas. It's pretty much how the Grinch stole Christmas, but with Final Testament.
It's good, yeah.
And they learn the spirit of Christmas and what it means. And they're like, Christmas is great.
Oh, that's perfect, yeah. That's good. I like that a lot.
All right, there we go.
Oh, man. That was good. Good way to end. Anyways, this is going to do it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back live on Friday night for the SmackDown review. Correct. Tomorrow morning, we've got our latest episode of Countout going up, where we're talking about wrestling creative botches for 2024. So be sure to check that out. We're going to premiere it right here at the YouTube channel. Correct. And, of course, across all audio podcast platforms. Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.
Hey, yeah. Whoa. Hey, yeah.
Yeah.